You are listening to Single Smart Female.
This is us letting it all hang out about your love life, examining Steph's dating experiences, and answering your hot topic dating questions. Just you, Steph, and me. No topic is off limits and no filters involved. This is Jen.
And I'm Steph. If you have a question about your love life that you would like us to answer, you can submit your question at singlesmartfemale.com. Hi, and welcome to show number 4 of Single Smart Female. This is Steph, and I've got Jen here with me today, my lovely co-host. Welcome to my home.
Thank you. Thank you very much for taking me in.
Let's go ahead and get started with our question of the day. We have a woman from the UK who is 34 years old, and she writes, "Hi, Jen and Steph. I have liked a guy for the last 2 years. I have known him for 8 years, and we have slept together in the past. The confusion is that he won't sleep with me anymore, but always sexts and says he wants to. He will ignore me when he sees me unless he sees me talking to another man. And he says we are friends, but will never meet me for a drink or coffee. He doesn't want me to stop messaging him, and when we disagree about things, he always says he doesn't want to fall out with me. We talk via message every couple of days about all sorts of things. When I tell him I've been on a date, he wants to know how it was and if it was good or bad, and he always wants to know about my sex life. Like, he will ask me when the last time was. He says I should wait for the right guy. I know he sleeps with other women, so when I ask him to come over for that, he says he will, then he changes his mind. I did tell him about a year ago that I liked him, and he said he didn't feel the same, but still continues to message me, only when I message him first. But then we talk for hours. I'm confused. I don't know what he wants from me, if anything, or if he likes me, or is just playing with my feelings. Help."
Well, first off, thank you so much to my lovely lady in the UK for submitting this question. I'm actually going to turn it over to Steph to start because I believe we have some not necessarily conflicting, but we have some different opinions about this. Maybe leading in the same direction, but we definitely have differing opinions. So I'm going to start with her today and let her give you what she's got.
I kind of had a little bit of a visceral reaction to this one. Ugh.
Does it bring up memories for you?
You know what? Actually, no.
It doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
But I hate saying this because normally we talk about how we can give men time to come around and step up for us. To me, though, this guy is just looking for somebody to make him feel better when he's feeling a little bit lonely. And he doesn't want to sleep with you anymore because he's afraid he's going to hurt you and then not have that cushion to fall back on later. Ugh. Sorry.
So it made you feel pretty gross, I take it?
It did. It makes me feel a little gross. And I have no doubt that he cares for this woman, but I just don't feel like he's going to give her what she wants. And 2 years is a long time to stress about a guy that is sending somewhat mixed signals.
Okay. So there are lots of things that Steph just said that I completely agree with, and I didn't have the same visceral reaction that she did. There was one statement in there that I was like, okay. So next would probably be the best thing that I would say. But also, we do teach women to be adored women at havehimyourway.com. And sometimes it's a lot of fun to take on a challenge of a guy. But there are a couple conditions before I say anything else that have to happen for my lovely lady in the UK. The first thing is that you have to open up your options. It does sound like you're dating, but you're still hyper-focused on this guy. And if you're hyper-focused on a man, you do not give him space to fall for you whatsoever. In my estimation, he is reading this off of you, whether or not you're acting hyper-focused, you are still hyper-focused. His radar is going off. You're not giving him that space, and he's able to take advantage of that. And he knows that about you on some level. And I actually think that it might be a conscious level as well as an unconscious level. With that said, your options must be open. That meaning you need to bring other great men into your life that you are able to date. And if you're not dating anybody that you find remotely interesting, that you find more interesting than him, then you need to go to our site, helpmeonlinedate.com, helpmeonlinedate.com, and open up your options immediately. At that site, I give you the first free chapters of our program, Irresistibility, so that you can start putting together an online dating profile that will actually attract high quality men to include in your mantourage. Remember, mantourage dating is essentially dating more than one man at a time until you meet your forever man, or because we women can do as we please romantically, you can date men indefinitely as well until you choose whether or not you want to be in a relationship. Okay, so the thing that stuck out for me, the big thing, and everything you said to my lovely UK lady is that he will ignore me when he sees me. Now, I'm not even going to read the rest of that. There's more to it, and I'll talk about that in just a second, but he will ignore me when he sees me. Adored women, again, remember, we're teaching you to be adored women. Do not, under any circumstances, pay attention to men who ignore them. Ding! Okay? If a man is ignoring you, next. That's the big piece. But if you want to take on a challenge in this, the first thing is that you have to really prioritize the rest of your love life first before you can take on that challenge, which is why I told you to go to helpmeonlinedate.com. Really important. You've got to prioritize that first. Then if you want to play with him and have some fun with him and see what happens, you can. But that's a really big red flag. A guy ignoring you when you see him, that's a huge, huge red flag, regardless if he has subconscious feelings about you or, he kind of likes you on some level. That's the first premise that he's not really worth all that much of your time. This is just kind of a side note of if you want to challenge yourself a little. But if you don't get the rest of the men in place and have fun with them, then he shouldn't even be a side note. That's the first thing. The next part of this is that we set men up to treat us the way that we want to be treated. So if you're permissive of this behavior and you keep paying attention to him when he treats you like this, you're acknowledging his behavior is okay, because acknowledgement equals approval. Again, I'm going to repeat that. Acknowledgement equals approval. You keep paying attention to him under these conditions, you're saying it's okay for him to treat you like this. And I don't want to be super mean or make you feel like I'm slamming everything down on you right now, but I have to get you and all the ladies out there to understand. Every time you acknowledge men in this capacity and hyper focus on these guys that treat you this way, you're saying to the universe and to your love life, you know what? Fuck you. I don't really care about having great love in my life. Now, with that said, we were talking about a challenge. If you get the other pieces in your life right, the other thing I tell by this is that you disclose way too much of your personal information. He gets just enough from you to be satisfied and then is able to move on with the next woman. Okay, it is highly unlikely, as you are being so open with him about everything, he doesn't have anything to work for. You might tell him that you're going on a date with another guy, but you've disclosed so much. He knows where he can interject himself and where he can't. And he has nothing to try to figure out about you, which in the process of falling in love, that's one of the things we do is we have to do things and care for people. It's the process of action versus the process of just feeling. So he needs an opportunity to know less about you, to have a little bit more mystery about you and to wonder about you than you just handing it to him on a silver platter saying, here is all of me right now. Here's my ups, my downs, my sideways, my everything about me. I'm disclosing to you. I don't need you to have any mystery because I really think that this is going to be enough for you to fall in love with me. And unfortunately, it's not. We have to disclose what's necessary. He doesn't need a step-by-step account of what's going on in your love life. He does not need your dating itinerary. I know you're giving some pieces to him because you feel like that makes him jealous and he gets interested, but we got another big clue. He's still not sleeping with you, sweetheart. He's not having sex with you. Thank God he's not using you as a booty call. I want to say that right now. I want to acknowledge him for not using you as a booty call because my fear is that you would let him at this point. But at least he's keeping that separated distance. I know he's still sexting you, which tells me he does have physical interest in you, but he's keeping a distance because he knows you're emotionally connected to him. Now, if you want to flip this, you can do it one of two ways. You can just stop talking to him. I give you complete 100% permission because he sounds like he's driving you nuts. And one thing that we don't do is keep messing with guys that make us miserable and drive us nuts. We just let go of them, and then you prioritize the rest of your love life. If you are able to prioritize the rest of your love life and actually bring in men who have a real chance with you that you are actually interested in and that you will give the opportunity to love, cherish, and adore you, then at some point when you're feeling really stable in that piece and having fun with your mantourage, you're going out on dates, you're having a great time, you're putting the emphasis there, then maybe you can have some contact with him and have some fun with him and play with him. But if you find yourself going back to being hyper-focused, he goes to the curb again right away.
Yes. One thing I'd like to add is that I noticed that you mentioned when I message him first, then we talk. You know, it's fine. It's fine to message a man. There's really nothing wrong with that. But if you are the only one pursuing a man for his attention, that never works. It makes you feel icky and makes him feel like he doesn't have to do anything to win you over. I would take a break. If nothing else, maybe you can turn this around and make this a fun challenge for you. But give yourself some space from this guy because you're chasing him and that doesn't feel good. We know it doesn't feel good because you are asking us for your advice, for our advice.
Well, bringing it all together, I totally missed the whole you're initiating the text part. So nice catch, Steph. But bringing it all together, one thing is when you're doing all the pursuing, when you're doing all the contacting, the arranging, the only thing that ever ends up happening is you feeling a little bit crazy, and eventually that turns into feeling bitter and resentful. And there is nothing sexy and bitter and resentful. There's nothing less sexy than being bitter and resentful. It is hard to draw in love when you are truly bitter and resentful. And that's one of the things that's going on with a lot of women these days is we're kicking ass and taking names and career and things like that. But in love, because we're using those same tactics, what ends up happening is we get bitter and resentful because in reality, yes, it's great to be bold. It's great to make a first move sometimes, things like that. But if you are doing all the pursuing and doing all the going after and chasing, you're going to become exhausted romantically, physically, spiritually, emotionally, all of the lees. You're going to be completely just tapped out and you're taking away his opportunity to fall in love with you, his opportunity to think that you are the most amazing thing that has ever happened to him because he has nothing to do for you. He has nothing to figure out about you, nothing to understand better about you. It's all about him. Okay, lady love out in the UK, as I send you this message, my hope is that you go ahead and put him to the side right now. You have other things that are way more pressing, such as developing your mantourage and giving your love life the boost that it needs. You can find us over at helpmeonlinedate.com, and I'll give you those first 2 chapters for free so you can get started on your new online dating profile, because online dating is 100% the easiest and fastest way to start developing your mantourage. And it also makes it easier to start talking to other men socially as well, because you'll start having so much fun online.
Today's episode is brought to you by Make Him Want You Again online class. If you would like to learn exactly what to do, say, or text to make yourself irresistible and unforgettable in his mind, meet us over at makehimwantyouagain.com. On today's show, it is Jen's turn to talk about her love life and what's happening. So Jen, Tell us about your love life.
Well, Steph, my love life is pretty good. My husband and I are celebrating 10 years together this week, and it's been...
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's been a very crazy, interesting, phenomenal ride, and something really interesting came up last week that I spoke to you off air about. I had considered not sharing this with our listeners, but I thought it was really important. You know, Steph is in her dating stages right now, which can be so much fun and really has a lot of high emotions tied around it. But when done the right way, can change the course of a relationship and your romantic life drastically. And that's something I did in 2006 and 2007. And consequently, I met my husband, and now we've been together for 10 years. But like I said, something happened last week, and something that I wanted to have no filters about and discuss with all of you ladies out there listening, because the truth is that we get really pissed off in relationships at men when they look at other women. But like I said, the truth is that we never stop finding other people attractive, especially as adored women, which is what we teach at havehimyourway.com. And I had an overwhelming incident of being so attracted to somebody last weekend. I had to call Steph and disclose this and get it off my chest. And then I realized that not only are we going to feel attraction inside the context of a relationship throughout our life, and that can be a good thing as long as you don't step over the boundaries that you've established with your partner, but it's very eye-opening, and I realized that it was correlating with my ovulation time. So his attraction was exacerbated to another level. And sometimes we women mistake those feelings as, oh, I need to look elsewhere for love, or things aren't going well and things aren't good just because you feel attracted to other people. Or we get pissed off at our men if they have any attraction for other people. But we're not born with blinders on. We are dynamic, feeling, evolving people. We're going to see people and feel things and wonder about what if the grass was greener on the other side. But you don't have to dismiss everything that's going on in your life at the same time. And you can acknowledge the pieces that are in play. For me, it was my, again, no filters here, no filters on Single Smart Female. I was ovulating. I full on was ovulating.
Hey, when your body says go, it means go, but that doesn't mean you have to act on it.
Exactly. But you can enjoy the feeling. Okay, Single Smart Female, it's time for the final thought on today's show. There is nothing wrong with sampling the menu, but you never should settle for scraps. This is Jen.
And this is Steph.
Don't forget to subscribe to our show in iTunes. And if you'd like to submit a question to us, come see us at singlesmartfemale.com. And if you just want to come play around and learn more about Mantourage dating, come see us at havehimyourway.com.
Talk to you next time.